This episode's fact: as your carbon emissions come down, so do your costs. And at the point of both the origin of the problem and the solution lies your data. So let's start there. Welcome back to the Corporate Sustainability Education channel. We are powered by the Southern Sustainability Partnership. In this episode, we're joined by John MacMillan, CEO of AyMa IoT. They are a technology company that are passionate about helping today's businesses transition to a more sustainable business model through making the most of their data. Welcome, John.
Thank you. Lovely to see you.
John, reducing the environmental impact of an organisation through reduced emissions is, for many companies that are new to this, a big ask. So in simple terms, of course, you can't start to address something until you actually understand exactly what the problem is. The answer, you say, lies in the data. So can you explain a bit more about that, please?
Certainly. And I totally agree with that statement that, many businesses don't know how to tackle the whole issue about becoming more sustainable without actually understanding how unsustainable they actually are today. And we believe very passionately that that comes from the data of activities that are going on within the organisation. So we aim to help our customers understand that data by giving them access to real-time information of what is going on around everything that's going on in their business operations, which includes, of course, the biggest factor of their emissions, which will be their energy consumption.
Yeah, if we focus then on the energy, generally speaking, an organisation is only really privy to what they use and spend in their energy after the effect. In other words, when they open the bill. And in other words, at the highest cost to them, and if we look at it that way as well, at the highest cost to the planet with their emissions. So your goal is to reduce these carbon emissions through energy management, visibility and control. So can you explain exactly how the AyMa model works?
Absolutely. So within AyMa, one of the functions we have within our business is a data capture platform called Ipsum, which is cloud-based. And we use a number of data capture means through sensors, IoT chips, and we connect that onto our customers' platforms, and we pull the real-time utilization of what that organization is consuming, and we upload that information into our Ipsum platform. And from that, our customers get access to dashboards, real-time dashboards within their organization that they can log into, and they can see the real utilization of what's going on in their business down to actual device level. So they can see within a specific operation within their organization what is actually being used and where it's being used from. And that's regardless of whether that customer is a one site or a multi-sited organization. So giving people access to that data real time, particularly if you are managing across maybe 4 or 5 sites and waiting for the bill to come in at the end of the quarter, and as you said, maybe not knowing what the consumption is going to be. If you've got the ability to actually take action before the bill comes in, and actually be able to see what's going on across your organization in real time, it gives you a much better opportunity to put a strategy in place to drive out unnecessary consumption. It also allows you to use that data, the live data, to validate the bill that you get from your energy provider, because quite often, bills are you might have issues with your bills. And the other thing to remember here in the UK, we are as a country are the worst for using more energy than we actually need to do. The way the grid is set up, the outlets and the power consumption that gets put into our organisations, devices that we connect into the mains on our business are very greedy. And effectively, if you don't have any kind of regulator in place, the devices that are used pulling the power will pull as much power that they can get, even when they don't need to. So if we can limit the power consumption to devices and when they're being used without affecting the operation of your business, then that's going to do two things. It's going to save you money, and it's also going to mean that you will use less energy, which ultimately is the best thing for everyone.
There is a saying, seeing is believing. This is clearly the case here. So in your experience, how often does this data come as a complete shock to a company?
Well, I would say 9 times out of 10. It's the same with, I've been in the IT and telecommunications industry for over 25 years. And, I've delivered multinational IT strategies to some small, medium, and very large companies. And at the end of the day, people don't really know what is going on. When you're busy running your organization and trying to deliver the KPIs that your business is being driven against, and that ultimately try to be as profitable and as effective as you can, more often than not, we start to forget about keeping the garden tidy. And it takes a lot of that. In many cases, it can take a lot of time to do that at the same time as moving forward. We take that pain away for our customers by giving, once you've got Ipsum and the platform installed, it's there for good. It's real time capturing information, as much information as you want to be able to track against your organization, and then you can be using that information for compliance purposes, and for driving savings throughout your organizations, and holding your energy suppliers to account in terms of the data that they provide to you.
Yes, and there's not one company really out there that couldn't benefit or find another really good use for the money that they're going to save if they're very efficient on how they use and monitor their energy. So now that we have the data from you, John, how does a company go about interpreting what they're actually looking at?
Okay, so we provide within the Ipsum platform, we have some reporting tools designed for our customers. And there's tutorials, there's support from my team. So when we install Ipsum into a customer's premises and we commission the solution, we give a number of people in the organization training on how to access the platform, how to build the report generators, and also how to set up dashboards with alarms. So for instance, if you wanted to check if energy or an activity was taking place across your organization at times when it shouldn't be happening, then we have the ability for you to set alarms up for that will notify you and then allow you to take action against it. And again, for most companies that are used to looking through either energy bills or data sheets where you can see activities going on within your organization, then they will find the Ipsum platform very user friendly. It's a self-service platform, and again, it's basically bringing the data all about you and your organization into a format that's easily digestible and interpreted.
I've read about your company and where you mentioned direct and indirect emissions. So can you explain exactly what you mean by indirect?
Indirect, absolutely. So indirect emissions are to do with when a company is looking to put together a sustainability model, they have to take into consideration not just the impact of what's going on the ground in their actual organization. You have to take into consideration your supply chain, and you have to take into consideration the downstream effects of your actions. So whether that's through how do you source your materials? Where are you bringing those materials from? How do they get into your organisation? Because the carbon footprint of everything you do includes the journey of how they get into your organisation, and it also has an impact on your impact on the downstream effects of where your products or your operation sell onto.
So once they have interpreted the information that you've given them, the data, how would you suggest that a professional that's involved in that within the company, how would you suggest that they would go about getting other people on board within the company that will have a part in having to address the issues that you've identified?
So absolutely. So within an organisation, the individuals or the team responsible for supporting and implementing a sustainability strategy should be engaging with people in the procurement in the business. They should be also engaging with people in the sales teams within the business to understand the both inward and out the incoming products into the business to understand the source and origin of those products. And they should be as part of any sustainability strategy, they should be ensuring and driving to ensure that the materials are coming through as much of a carbon neutral journey as possible.
Sustainability is nearly always about reducing something, and that is a knock-on effect is reducing costs, and that must talk every business's language.
Of
So,
course, yeah.
so in an ideal world, who within an organization should actually see an energy bill and in turn the data that you provide? Because, I think to myself, when you get to a huge company, obviously the people at the very top probably don't see the bills, but maybe in an SME situation, there are people maybe that still aren't seeing the bills and they don't realize just how much money, they're wasting through this. So who would you really like to be able to see this data?
Yeah, absolutely. So within an SME, the directors of the company, so whether that's the finance director, the managing director, anybody at all with fiscal responsibility should be taking much more account of what is being consumed within the business. But I also think that the more we talk about this and the more awareness we get out to organizations about sustainability, and many people that I speak to feel that by implementing a sustainability strategy is going to cost them money. It's absolutely not going to do that if you are addressing your issues properly, and if you are being open enough to let query the data of what's going on in your organization.
So, do you help an organization to break down the data and look at the areas in which they should address first? Or really does it come down to the numbers speak for themselves? The higher you're paying in certain areas, that's what you need to address. Because I think one of the things that we like to say is that you've got this as a whole and you need to address this as a whole. However, that can be quite daunting. A step-by-step process is always going to be the best way forward. So, are you helping companies to say, I would start here?
Yes, we do. So providing people with the data, as you say, is one step. We can't accurately comment or advise customers as to the first approaches that they should take to reduce costs and to become more sustainable, without first of all understanding what is going on in the business today. So that's where the data capture and the using of the Ipsum platform is key to get that real-time data of what is going on the ground. And once we have that, yes, we will then help our customers put in place a phased, a staged approach in terms of short, medium, and long-term goals and to become more sustainable. But we find very quickly in the first a couple of months of Ipsum recording data that people get very, very quick results in terms of changes that you can implement immediately in your business.
So obviously, for most organisations, they look at this in terms of reducing their costs, and in turn, that reduces their carbon footprint. But for many businesses, it's about a lot more than that. They have obligations and responsibilities that they have to adhere to. A lot of time that is really down to the size of the business and their turnover. So for your customers, what are the obligations that they're usually dealing with?
So again, you're absolutely right to bring that up, Linda. There are different, depending on the vertical market that a customer may be in, whether they're in the government side of things, if they're a public sector body. Of course, public sector bodies today record as much data as they possibly can around their environmental impacts and their overall sustainability. Most of that is done on paper and spreadsheets. So we bring a very good way of working into the compliance side of things for organisations that have to conform within that through the local sector, but also small businesses who may be part of a legislative body. They may be part of organisations that drive sustainability and to retain their accreditations in certain bodies. They may have to provide accurate data in terms of what they are doing around sustainability and around energy usage, so they can benefit from this. And of course, companies today of certain sizes who are used to providing ESOS reporting for compliance purposes, we have an ESOS reporting tool within Ipsum, which takes all of the data that you've been using over a period of time, and it will automatically pre-populate your ESOS report for you. So that is a huge saving to those businesses that are having to do that manually currently today.
Yes, what company who is ESOS regulated doesn't want that process to be made a lot easier, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Okay, so I'm responsible for the energy management within my company. How do I start that conversation internally about getting the investment to put this in place? And how should I prepare for your visit?
So I think that customers shouldn't necessarily be overly concerned about the cost of installing Ipsum. In many ways, in many situations, we will actually install the technology and infrastructure to capture the data for customers for free. The model for accessing Ipsum, just like at many other cloud computing platforms, is a monthly subscription basis. But so the overall investment to get access to Ipsum is in most of my team's view, very minute. It's a tool that I think that when I speak to most business owners, I say, why not have Ipsum? Because from a costing perspective, it more than pays for itself 10 times over. And it takes away the manual and laborious work that many people have to do looking through bills and spreadsheets. So really, if you're the person within an organisation that's responsible for doing your ESOS reporting, or for putting together the team, that in many larger organisations, they will have teams of people that will be used for collating all of that data. Then Ipsum for them is a tool that they will, once they've used it, they will never ever go back to the way they've been doing things. So it's it sells itself, to be honest with you. When we do a demonstration of what Ipsum can capture, how user friendly it is, and the inbuilt ESOS reporting in place, then it's something that's unparalleled in the market.
We're sure that our channel fans would love to hear an example of an organisation where you have gone in and actually helped them with their energy management. Maybe give us an idea of some percentage savings they've made, both financially and with their carbon emissions. You don't have to mention a company name, but this is the really exciting stuff where you could give us an example of a type of company that you've worked with.
Okay, so we are working to put together a number of case studies at the moment, which we'll be sharing on our website, which will be branded with the actual customers' names. And so people, what I would say to that question is watch the space over the next coming weeks. Then you will see more content on our website. You'll see real case studies, real examples of people that are able to reap the full benefits of what we deliver.
Okay, well, that was our final question, John. Thank you so much to John MacMillan, CEO of AyMa IoT, for your valuable insights. You will find AyMa IoT at the big Sustainability Expo in 2021 in Hall 1, Stand 46, and they are actually the headline sponsor for the entire event, so co-hosting the event with the Southern Sustainability Partnership. We've provided a link to the AyMa IoT website to the right of this video, and that will enable you to go in at some stage and have a look at those case studies that John's referring to. So in the meantime, thank you very much for watching, and thank you for listening, and we'll see you in the next one.